Okay, so you have learned about circumference and area of circles, also central angles and measures of arcs. So today we're going to talk about a different kind of angle, which is called an inscribed angle. And as you learned, the central angle has a vertex that is on the center of the circle. Now, an inscribed angle is a circle, is always going to be in a circle, and the vertex is going to be on the circle. Okay, so an inscribed angle in a circle has its vertex and both endpoints on the edge of the circle. So if you look at the picture here, it's a little easier to see, to understand. This is the vertex of the angle. These are the two sides of the angle. So this is the vertex. This is the inscribed angle. And what is true about that angle is, or angle ADB, is that that angle will always be half of the measure of the intercepted arc. In this case, the intercepted arc is arc AB. So if you remember what we learned before, the angle that is formed on the center of the circle, this has the same measure as that. However, the red one is going to be half of the green one. Okay, that's the rule. An inscribed angle is always half of the intercepted arc. So for example, here they gave you a picture. This is an inscribed angle, and this angle is inscribed because the vertex is on the circle. The measure of the intercepted arc, which happens to be arc AC, is 82, which means that x should be half of 82. So x should be 82 over 2, which is 41 degrees. Moving on, this is another one you could try on your own. And after you try on your own, you should be able to see that this angle is an inscribed angle. I know that because the vertex is on the circle, which means it's going to have to be half of the intercepted arc. So the measure of angle X should be 102 divided by 2, which is going to be 51 degrees. Then we have another one here, and this one, they don't give the directions, but I am going to go ahead and write down, we're going to find the measure of angle ADB, which is this one. It's an inscribed angle, so the measure of angle ADB should be equal to half of the intercepted arc, which in this case is 76 degrees. So I can do 76 divided by 2, which is going to give me 38 degrees. Now there is another angle there that I can see, and that is the blue angle over here. And they told me that that angle is 45 degrees. So this is a little bit trickier because they did not give me the measure of the arc. They gave me the measure of the angle. So angle DBC is 45, which means the arc, we have to go backwards now. Arc DC is going to be 2 times the measure of the inscribed angle, which is 45 degrees, which means that the measure of arc DC should be 90 degrees. So if you have the measure of the inscribed angle and you want to find the arc, you need to multiply by 2. If you have the measure of the arc and want to find the measure of the inscribed angle, then you need to divide by 2. Now, you should also know what an inscribed quadrilateral is. And an inscribed quadrilateral is a quadrilateral, which means it has to have 4 sides. It's a 4-sided figure that is drawn inside a circle, meaning all the corners of that quadrilateral are going to be on the circle. With all of its vertices, so all of its vertices will be on the edge of the circle. So what you need to learn from this theorem is that if a quadrilateral is inscribed in a circle, meaning if all the vertices of the quadrilateral lie on the circle, then opposite angles will be supplementary. And if you remember what supplementary means, it means that they're going to add up to 180. Okay? So let's take a look at an example. So what you should know here, first of all, I know this is an inscribed quadrilateral. I know that because all the vertices, the corners of that quadrilateral are on the circle. So this quadrilateral is inscribed, which means that the opposite angles, which are D and B, so they have to be across from each other. Those are the opposite angles. So I can say that the measure of angle B, plus the measure of angle D, that has to equal 180 degrees because the opposite angles will always be supplementary. That's the theorem that we just learned. So over here, these are opposite angles. So the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle C has to equal 180 degrees as well. So here they're asking me to find X and Y. So you should be able to identify that X and 80 degrees are opposite angles. This is an inscribed quadrilateral because all corners of the quadrilateral are on the circle, which means these are all inscribed angles. So now I can say that X plus 80 has to be equal to 180 because they're opposite angles, they have to be supplementary, which means that X has to be equal to 100 degrees. And now I need to solve for Y. So for Y, I should be able to see that this and this are opposite angles, which means if they're opposite angles, they will be supplementary. So now I can say that 71 or Y plus 71 degrees. And let me just erase this so we keep the colors consistent. So Y plus 71 degrees is equal to 180. Now I can subtract 71 from both sides, and I get that Y should be 109 degrees. So that's how you solve these kinds of problems. Then we have a few more here.
Is this a video?
Yes. Okay, so over here, same idea. So we can say that for this one, these two are opposite angles. So I can say X plus 108 is going to be supplementary, so that equals 180. You subtract 108 from both sides. X is 72 degrees. And I can do the same thing for Y. So now I can say that Y plus 88 is equal to 180. And then now I can subtract 88 from both sides. I get that Y should be 92 degrees. And the last problem, then we'll be done, is a little bit more complex with the algebra, but it's the same idea. So we have 4y plus 14 has to be, 4y plus 14 plus 7y plus 1. They have to be supplementary because they're opposite angles. So 4y plus 14 plus 7y plus 1 equals 180. And because the equal sign is over here, you have to combine like terms on the same side. So 4y plus 7y is 11y. 14 plus 1 is plus 15 is equal to 180. So now you need to subtract 15 from both sides. And you get that 11y is going to be 165. And that should be equal to 115, right? y equals 15. And then you need to also solve for x. They told you that this angle is 7x plus 1. This angle is opposite to that. So I can say 7x plus 1 plus 105. 7x plus 1 plus 105. Those have to be supplementary, so they equal 180. I can combine these like terms here because they're on the same side of this equal sign. So 7x plus 106 equals 180. Now I need to subtract 106 from both sides. And I get that 7x is going to be equal to, what is this? It's going to be 74. That is right? 105, 7x plus 1. So that's going to give me a decimal. Let me just double check. 7x plus 1 plus 105 is 180. 7x plus 1, yeah, that's going to give me a decimal. So I'm going to enter that on the calculator. 74 divided by 7. And my answer there is 10.57. I can round it to 10.6. So x is about 10.6 units. Okay? Please reach out if you have any questions. We have a Google Meet tomorrow. I will answer I'll answer questions you have on this, and if you have any. And then we'll take it from there. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you.